Hello and welcome to another episode of the Underhive Lorekeepers podcast, the number one Necromunda lore podcast by us. I can't think of anything else funny there. As always, I am Spamuel. And to my right, the minuscule marksman of a manvent himself, Nathan. How are you, buddy?
That's a good one. Oh my lord. It's been a long time since you've actually had a good one. Congratulations, sir. I like it.
See, until you realise it's actually an incredible insult. But you won't know how for a while.
Right. I feel like it's probably a very small insult then.
Nice one. How are you, dude?
I am well. I have returned from the Forge World of Mudgee. My little expedition out there. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, one of our patrons was out there with me as well, so that was a good chat. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Did he attack you like I tried to pay him to do so? Or
He did, but then it all sort of just turned into like adoration and care. So I don't know. It's just something I do to people. They're just like, oh, I couldn't do this to you, Nath. But no, he was good. It was shout out to Jesse. But yeah, no,
beating followed by a cuddle.
Yeah, exactly. It's classic Necromunda child rearing technique. Anyway, yeah, no, I've been all right. Just as people have seen on the Insta, I am completely hooked with Imperialis. That's why you're saying miniature marksman, because of the Imperialis. Very clever.
There we go.
Oh, look at you.
I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, wow. Well, you have to, because it's quite small. Otherwise, you can't see them. Bring them up. I'm on fire. It's been too long. But then, yes, I have been touched by Grandpapa Nurgle as well. He has decided that, do you know what? You're seeming a little bit too virulent and happy and sprightly. Have yourself a virus of some description. So, at the moment, I'm not sick. I'm just not 100%.
Well, that's what you get for going away with your real job and leaving me alone to my own devices.
Oh, speaking of, hang on, sir. How dare you? How dare you? First and foremost, I think we need to overhaul this podcast. What are you doing on the Patreon?
Yeah, so
Explain it to all of us.
Yeah. Nathan has, quote unquote, a real job and occasionally needs to go and do that job. And as such, left me alone. And this is his own fault because he knows I'm supposed to be supervised and I have terrible impulse control when it comes to money. And we were unable to record our Patreon episode for last month. Don't worry, Patreons, Patties. We will have 2 episodes for you this month. But for those of our Patreons who haven't necessarily been on Patreon since I've posted it, we are just doing a giveaway for our Patreons. And it is incredibly simple. Be one of our Patreons. And then by the end of this month, once we've finished that second episode, one of you is just getting something. You just tell me something Necromunda related. And when I draw a name, if it's your name, you get said thing. And if you are one of our Patreons and you don't tell me anything, you are getting a Van Sar gang. All right? I'm bullying you into playing Van Sar.
Whoever gets that Van Sar gang, I stand by our policy of a returns no questions asked policy for that, because nobody deserves that.
They get it. It just comes back to me with return to sender.
Yeah, and you're just like, I'll just add them to the collection then. They're fine. They're mine now.
I wanted to play Imperial Fists.
Oh, no. No. Okay, there's like little vetoes that are creeping up in this, because I haven't been part of the initial stages of this. This is my other veto. If anybody asks for Imperial Fists on Patreon, then I will personally send it to you. I can't promise what you're going to get. But
somehow it's painted as blood ravens.
Yeah, they stole the Imperial Fists.
They've stolen your Imperial Fists. But, yes. So, our Patreons, just to double clarify, you're all in this competition automatically. And at the end of this month, I'm just going to draw one of your names. And if you told me what you want, you're going to get it. if you don't, you won't. You'll get Vansar. And it'll make me happy. The look on Nathan's face right now, you can't tell because this is an audio medium, but it's disgust. It's disgust.
It is genuine.
Yeah, so that's literally what I've been up to because you've been away, so you've had I've spoken to you like twice while you've been away.
Yeah, true. I was out in the boonies.
Yeah, I just went to work, then I came home, ignored my family, and I'd just crawl into bed and be like, "Where's my man?" I have no one to talk to.
I'm gonna hope that scenario didn't happen.
No, it didn't. It didn't because anytime I wanted any time by myself, Goblin Juve would walk in and just be like, "Hey, Daddy, what are you doing?
You look peaceful. Let me help you with
you
that."
You look like you need someone to ruin your day."
But anyway, yeah, I guess a one-word answer to what I've been up to is Imperial. Legions Imperialis. Oh my god, I couldn't even spit out one word.
One word, Legions Imperialis.
Oh, I'm sick. Back off. Right, so Legions Imperialis, and I will hopefully have a few more pictures up by the time this episode airs. But they're all just grey boys at the moment. Unfortunately, I can't get the colours I need to spray them, so that's hopefully coming in the next fortnight or so. But
nice.
Yeah, fun. What about yourself? What actual hobby have you been done other than like corrupting and taking the podcast down a different pathway? What actual hobby have you been doing?
Absolutely nothing.
Ah!
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. A mate of ours, Craig Gale, over on the Necromunda Vehicles Facebook page, is running a competition, which, if people don't know, you and I are actually going to be judging alongside a couple of other sort of well-known names in the Necromunda hobby. We are judging this, and it's basically based on, like, cartoons from when we were kids. It was things like Dino Riders, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Thundercats, Biker Mice from Mars, and I'm sort of answering your question with a promo. So it's like
what you were doing.
Yeah, I am doing some Dino Riders conversions I'm doing a Dino Rider conversion. Even though I can't enter, I still want to do it because I'm like, I want to do it. But then it's like, if all I have to do is I have to bribe you and then, Steve and Chris and Dan from Some City Radio, and then I have to bribe 3 Ogrins in a trench coat, which is pretty simple.
Shiny.
Yeah. Something shiny is just like, oh yeah. So I may somehow win this competition. I'm gonna vote against myself.
Just to give everybody a chance. What a true champion you are.
Thank you. No, that's it really. I've been doing that. I've been sort of really kind of screwing around with just playing with a couple of different projects that I've had over the last 24 months. I made another squat for my prospectors. It will not be painted.
Yep.
I made a couple more Trader Guard for my Trader Guard. They will not be painted.
Yep.
I made another Escher for my Sawtooth Harlots squad for my Imperial Guard. They will not be painted.
Yep.
Apart from that...
we need a t-shirt that says that. They will not be painted.
Yeah, they will not be painted.
Just in grey frame. Just like, you still got to cut it out. They will not be painted.
Merch idea.
No.
Apart from that, I've not really had a lot of hobby. Work has just been ridiculous. We joke, but it's sort of real life this last 2 weeks, or basically since I think about 15 minutes after we finished recording our Makeda Populi episode.
Yeah, true.
Life was just like, oh hey, no sleep for you.
Yeah, that's the next day I flew up to the Forge World. So
And speaking of that Makeda Populi episode, massive response from the community. People really seemed to enjoy the fact that it was, instead of us just screaming the word gang idea at each other, that we spoke to an actual person. Simon was great. And
He was, yeah. I really enjoyed that interview. Yeah.
it was ridiculous because we both basically we sort of ended it and we both sort of looked at each other and were like, that was awesome.
But not that we didn't expect it to be awesome. It's just Yeah.
Oh, I expected him to be terrible.
Oh, right. Okay, good.
Yeah.
We're on the same
You
page.
weren't there. You weren't there at the beginning.
Yeah.
He was actively eating crayons
Right.
by the punnet.
Yes.
He had punnets of crayons. It was ridiculous. I don't know why he had that many crayons. It's where the accent came from.
Right, that's what
Yeah,
I...
he's actually from Queensland.
That's gold.
No, it was awesome. We loved having Simon on, and we've sort of been brainstorming a couple of other sort of people. I hate this term, but like influences within sort of our hobby. People we want to sort of get on. We've chatted to a couple of people, and we don't want to do just like 8 episodes in a row of being like, these are our friends. We want to talk about hobby together.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to get a couple of those down by the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Just and if people are liking the episodes, please provide that feedback. If there's specific things that you want us to ask people, or like we have a cluster of questions that we go for. So if there's some questions you want to throw in there, we can potentially just throw those along as well. But it all depend, unless they're like really crass and naughty, no good questions.
I mean, you can ask me naughty, no good questions if you want to, community, and some of you do. Yeah, so just a quick shout out to Nathan. Please stop asking me those questions. Speaking of our community, I want to do a very specific shout out to one of our listeners and Patreons. And it is a woman by the name of Pani Mauser. Now, Pani messaged me on our Instagram a while ago, actually about Horatio Valentino. And I've showed you these.
Yeah, they're gold.
She's made... How do I describe this? Everyone knows there's a particular picture of the internet of an individual sitting on a couch with a collection of men behind them. And everyone is smiling. And I'm going to put these pictures up. Not that picture.
No,
but the picture
please
that
don't.
Party's done. Up on our Instagram with the release of the episode. And it is Horatio Valentino with a collection of gang members behind him. And everyone has a smile on their face.
What's a party?
And
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And then, but first she did this one of Horatio in all his glory, with like this ruffled shirt with his gut hanging out.
Yeah, I love that.
And he's got the some Crocs on.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Pani has almost immediately become my absolute favourite artist. Except the fact that particular picture does have a caryatid in it.
He's a lucky boy.
He is the luckiest
And the caryatids
of boys.
follow the luck. But I will say, yeah, for me, it's the some Crocs.
The sub-Crocs.
They need to become war gear in the game. 100%. They're just...
House rule.
House rule, yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Increase your gang's reputation.
Oh.
How good would that be? You just go, yep, I'm wearing these bad boys. And you just...
and the caryatid's name is Pity, short for Cupid.
Oh, Pani.
Because...
Well done.
Because the caryatid makes Horatio... Oh my god, the caryatid makes Horatio so lucky that that's how he's able to bed so many people.
That's exactly it. The caryatid just does its little whispering, or even just a little dart, or however it wants to interact with the gang member or the person or creature on Necromunda, and just goes, you love Horatio now. It's a love potion caryatid.
Oh, okay, there's one caryatid I like. All right? There's only one, and it is pity. And, oh.
P-I-double-D-Y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like P. Diddy without a D. Pity.
Yeah, P did it. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, so you'll see the pictures that I'm talking about when we put up the post one here. Check out Parney Mouse's miniatures page. She may start putting her art up there again. Hopefully she does, because yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, that's cracker. I hope she does too. But we got our spam your corrections, don't we?
We do.
We do.
What
have you got for me?
I love how you've jumped straight into this, but we actually have something pretty cool to talk about first. Scummers, we are huge on sort of talking about the community and people doing things within our community. And we got a message from a fella on Instagram. Now, his name was Alex, and he's from a Queensland-based crew called Saucermen Studios. Now, the message was pretty basic. It sort of said, "Hey, dummies." No, he didn't. He didn't call us dummies.
I was about to end this.
Yeah, be like, oh, I'm sorry, what? No, Saucermen Studios do huge amounts of 3D printed hobby terrain and what are they called? Come on, man, technology, not me. STLs.
STLs. Was it PLA printing? I think it's called. I'm not a great understander of 3D printing.
I know. I install PowerPoints. All right? I am the most Alec chicken of Alec chickens you will ever meet. But basically, Alex reached out to us and was like, "Hey, man, we would love for you to have a look at some of the stuff we have. Maybe chat about what we're doing and get it across to your audience." And I said, "Hell yes." Firstly, I immediately checked out the website, looked at it all, and it's sick. It is proper sci-fi dystopian, insanity. The terrain, the displays, all that sort of stuff. And then Alex said, so you can sort of really know what you're talking about, we've got a release coming out of their modular display plinths. It's called the Hero Stand range. And Alex shot us through some of them. We've got them printed up and we're having a look at these things. And in the easiest way is, you'll all see the photos when I link it up on here. If you want to take a photo of your miniature and you're like, all right, I've got to clear this part of the desk and they're going to see where I've spilled my Nuln oil. And it's basically just, it's just my desk in front of a white piece of paper or a piece of paper I've cut out. These display plinths are literally designed so you whack your model on there. You whack your gang leader, your objective, your hanger-on. And it's photo ready. With the ones the ones we've got here, I've got one and so does Nathan. All I've done with mine, and I'm the first person to say I'm not a great painter. I've basically base coated this bad boy, dry brushed it sort of silver, picked out a few little details, and I put a mini on this thing, and it's in a scene.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. You know how I am about bases, that captures the environment, captures where your miniature belongs, what's the theme of your gang. These do this with so much ease. You just put them on there, away you go. The other idea that I had for them is you could take a little photo of them on that plinth and then attach them to your gang card, your character card.
Oh, that's sick.
And it looks bad. It's not just, getting lost in the background with some terrain. It's actually, that's my guy. He looks freaking mad. So if you want to go that extra step with, creating a bit of subsidiaries to your gang in terms of cool displays and so forth, you can attach this into your gang cards and look. That's what I'm probably going to end up doing for my Cordians as well.
You're jumping straight into talking about those Cordians. Nice. You're going to take them to Arc this year, aren't you?
I am indeed. I am
So,
indeed. And once
We've
I've
only
got
got
one of
6
them,
months. We should start.
6 months. Oh, maybe I'll
Yeah.
pick something else. It's a bit tight.
But yeah, these display plinths are sick, and sort of if you jump onto Sourceman Studios Kickstarter, check it out there. There's this thing. I think it's at time of recording of the $1,000 goal they were aiming for. They've got like $15,000
Yeah,
pledged
right.
towards this thing.
Fantastic.
Like
Yeah.
it's like 300 different files, and all these things are mix and match, and you could just print out like 2 of everything, and it would be impossible for you to duplicate
Yeah.
what you've already got.
Yeah.
And like if I didn't like it, I would have said, listen, man, like I like what you're doing. It's not something I want to sort of put my name against.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we get nothing for this.
Yeah,
It's-
this is part of our community. You know, we're
Yeah.
we're spruiking it because one, it's part of our community, and it's also a fellow Aussie as well.
Yeah. And another thing Alex turned around and said was, and you know, because it's not necessarily something that we commonly do, any of our listeners who are interested in getting these products, there is actually a discount code. If you purchase anything from their website, which is just sourcemenstudios.com.au, you put in the code Lorekeepers and you just get 10% off. Like, he's just like, yeah, hey man, go for it.
Yeah.
Put this out to your audience. If they like it, they can get a discount just being listening to us. So yeah, massive thank you to Alex for sort of letting us see these, and massive thank you for organising a discount code for our listeners. Listeners, check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, it is cracker, and yeah, I'm on the same path as Sam. Just get into it, you'll love it.
Now we can get into your favourite part,
Yes.
the spamule corrections.
Yes.
We have 3.
Doing well this
actually,
week.
This is weird. We actually have 4, but one of them isn't for us. So the first one is for me. And it comes from our favourite chaos cultist of a god who shall not be named, Punk Taku. And I said that it was Craig from Bad Wolf Miniatures and Necromunda Vehicles fame that messaged me about the Spira Matriarch. Punk Taku also messaged me about the Spira Matriarch. And now
Samuel.
they must fight to the death to decide which one I love the most.
Right. Okay. It's sort of a correction. It's more like a.
It's more of like a, I also messaged you about this, you dummy. I actually just think he wanted to call me a dummy.
Yeah. Right. Yep. I get that vibe. I certainly feel it sometimes myself, but yeah. Sorry, Punk. I'll make sure I'm onto him next time.
Yeah. No, you idiot. Someone else messaged you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds exactly like me.
The second one is, unfortunately, once again for me. Do you remember when I was talking about the labyrinth and being like, yeah, man, Jason's in the labyrinth and he's just wandering around, and wasn't Jason.
No, it was Theseus, wasn't it? I knew this. I just let you go ahead with it.
You're such a dick. Cygnus Maximus messaged me and he's like, nah, dog. Theseus was in the labyrinth, not Jason.
I remember telling you. You just must have edited it out. It was a terrible attitude on you.
Did you?
No, of course I didn't. I was just trying to claim
Oh,
that.
good. I felt like a real dummy. Well, okay, there's my 2 done. Okay, that's fair enough. I actually think I've got you on this one. Remember Sam the Bulgar messaging you about the Gorechild and Gorefather? And
Yeah.
where it's like, hey, why do you think it was the gladiator tradition? When a weapon was useless, you'd throw it away, and Khan took Gorechild. Would snatch back Gorefather from those berserkers that were basically using it as this like totem.
Yeah.
Now, if you think, and this is from Sam the Bulgar, if you think Angron would snatch back Gorefather, why do you think he would not snatch back Gorechild from Khan?
That is a fair point. But the way I look at Gorefather, it's being venerated, not being used. Whereas Gorechild is being used. Does that make sense? Plus, Angron would probably lose a digit or two, and he wouldn't want to go down that pathway. So, you don't seem convinced with my answer.
So you think...
I just think that he's watching Khan. Like you've got Khorne hovering over both of them going, why would I take that from Khan, who just kills? Like, it doesn't indiscriminate, just like arms stomping faces left, right, and centre. And as much as Angron's traditions would hold true, his dedication to Khorne and the will of Khorne would be, no, allow this man to cook. Give him his chain axe, give him a planet, let's see what he does.
And you also said he'd go to take it from Khan, and Khan would cut his fingers off.
Yeah, he'd lose a digit or two. He'd just be like, no, it's just too much hard work. I'm just going to go punch Lionel Johnson in the face.
Honestly, if I could punch any Primarch in the face, it would be Lionel Johnson.
I can see that. The problem is you're just going to find which fence he's sitting on.
Make a decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I disagree with your answer.
Oh. Well, Sam, come at me. I actually enjoy this little discourse that we're having. Come at me, tell me what you think, because I think the overruling power of Khorne would take precedence over the what is it? What's the word?
Like the cultural beliefs.
Yeah, like their practice beliefs from their home planet. Because I'm not going to say it, but I will venture down a little pathway. I think sometimes we give like a little bit too much credence to the Primarch's homeworld and how much it influences and affects them. And it does, don't get me wrong, it does, but they do develop and change after they leave those planets. Henceforth, they can become different things, can take on different things, can add different things to their personality, as Fulgrim did.
And Fulgrim also added a demon to his personality.
But that's
a snake tail, but okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Gives you something to talk about.
All right, cool. And correction number 4 was a weird one.
It is a weird one because it's not on the list, so what are you trying to ambush me with?
No, it's not even for you.
Oh, okay.
This is actually a message we got from a fella named Dean for Simon.
Oh.
And the message goes, a little bit of a correction from your Makata Populi episode. The title, Second Best Guides, is actually very deceptive.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's... What do you mean? The title is deceptive because they're clearly the best guides available. Right. Loved the episode. Oh. So, that was a bit cute.
That's a bit warm and fuzzy, isn't it? I like that, Dean.
I'll slide that in there.
Yeah, that's
well
beautiful.
Done, Dean.
Yes. Much respect.
So, yeah, that was the
well
list
done,
of corrections.
Yeah. I think so.
So you somehow got corrected and complimented.
Oh, I hope you're giving yourself a nice cuddle.
Yeah. And have another punnet of crayons, mate.
You can eat the brown ones, mate. They're still healthy. Anyway.
Yeah. Ooh, chocolate.
Yeah.
So that's really our sort of opening. I think it's a record. It's only lasted 9.5 hours this time.
Oh, wow. I just think we keep going for it. We're going to hit those heady heights of a 24-hour opening. It'll just be brilliant.
I'd love to do a 24-hour episode.
Don't even joke, because the requests will come and we'll find ourselves doing a live stream podcast and both of us will be crippled by the end of it.
You can live stream a podcast.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I saw somebody doing like live questions. It was actually mad. I was like looking at that going, live questions. That's cool. That's like thinking on the fly. That's sort of a little bit what we do here. Just a little bit of a look behind the scenes, guys. We don't always necessarily come in 110% prepared because we like to get a more au naturel answer. So, but if it was live streamed, it would be like, haven't even seen the question, just pops up and you go, yes, I am the most fantastic person that plays Necromunda. Yes, you're right. Good
Would
question.
we live stream on YouTube?
I think so. I ain't no tech magos, mate. So I think so. I saw it on what's the one? The one that sounds like you got a problem. Twitch. Yeah.
Twitch.
Yeah, yeah. And it was good. It was really good. It went for like 2 hours or something. I can't remember who it was, but it was.
Because we've got, I think we've been going for a year and like 2 months.
Yeah, very close to our anniversary. We should probably do something for that, shouldn't we?
I think you've just given me an idea.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm scared too.
Anyway, before I get sidetracked on that one there, why don't you run over our list of new Patreons?
Yes, our patties. We did mention Patreon quite a fair bit already, but these are all of our new additions. Thank you all very much for your support and your commitment to the podcast. We have Ian, Nick, Chris, Danny, Adam, Damien, Amelia, and the winner for this round is Cygnus Maximus.
Or as I'm now going to refer to him, not Jason.
Yes. I don't mean to put one name above the others, but when I see the list, I'm always like, ooh. Like sometimes you get a nice clear one, like Bill. Oh, Bill. That's a scary name. But yeah, thanks again, guys. Your support, your dedication to our show just makes it so awesome to do. We have a lot of good interactions, and going forward, we just try and do as much as we can for our Patreon crew, but also for the podcast as well, and the Patreon allows us to do that.
And if you do enjoy the show and you are interested in supporting the podcast, please shoot over to patreon.com/the Underhive Lorekeepers podcast. As I've said 300 times, we are 100% funded by the goodwill of our audience, that we do this for the love of Necromunda. Each month we have a Patreon exclusive episode, unless Nathan is away for his real job, as well as competitions, polls on episodes, and other bonus content.
All that stuff that he just said there, I don't know about it. It just happens when I'm away. So, good luck, guys. You know more about it than I do, so you guys are ahead of the curve. Thanks.
And if you are looking for another way to support us, get onto our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and possibly Twitch, if I can remember that.
Mate, yep.
A like and subscribe helps us grow and get our particular brand of Necromunda lore out into the world. All of our links will be in the show notes. And don't forget to give us a 5-star review on your preferred podcast platform.
Yeah, those 5-star reviews really do help, guys. We always do spruik them, but they are the best way for us to be found organically through the community. So keep them up, and we appreciate them very much so.
Well, what are we talking about for this episode?
Well, Sam, I think we've sort of highlighted a little bit on it earlier in that monstrous opening, but this is actually going to be our shortest episode ever.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shorter than the April Fool's episode?
Well, that's more of an event rather than an episode, that one. It's certainly upset the demons of the warp, that one. But no, this one is about our vertically challenged friends. The little ratties. The not ratties, Ratlings. And Abhumans.
I got excited there.
Yeah, you're like, rats, more rats. 150 rats, please. No, this is about the Ratlings in Necromunda, and I guess in 40k total as well. And this all stems from our April Fool's episode, as we were accosted and abused to doing more Abhuman stuff. So, yeah, following up from our basement episode, we've just gone a little bit less heretical. Oh my, I am becoming heretical. I can't pronounce it. So we've gone for the stumpy, furry-feeted little lads.
Also known as our children. Just with less firearms.
Oh, yours doesn't have a rifle yet. Huh? I knew I was doing something wrong. I wasn't 100% sure. But when he says dance, monkey dance, I'm like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble here.
It's when you give him his first bayonet, you realise you've made a problem.
Yeah. So with this episode, we're just going to go into what the Ratlings look like on Necromunda, what they look like, I guess, in a broader sense of 40k, very similar to what we did with the Beastmen, but more importantly, how we see they fit in to Necromunda. And I've got already a gang idea, but we'll touch on that a little bit later.
Oh, okay. Well, a lot of this information has come from a sort of myriad of sources, much like our Beastmen episode, where we're going from everything as far back as Rogue Trader all the way into sort of some of the more modern publications there, as well as the, let's be honest, junk pile of information and thoughts that Nathan and myself have inside of our rather tiny hobby-filled brains. But the Ratling, or the Homo sapiens minimus, which I love, is a member of a small, loud, hungry, and lecherous abhuman species, much like the Welsh.
Jeez.
Ratlings are granted full Imperial citizenship, despite their mutant status, and in the past have often served in the regiments of the Astra Militarum, or Imperial Guard, as members of the Militarum Auxilia. However, they are still distrusted by the more puritanical members of the Inquisition. Now, first off, I'm sorry to the Welsh. Didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, because the next bit you're talking about mutants. I'm just like, oh, right, okay. Let's piss off our whole country. Let's do it.
Yeah. But second, you hit it on the head there. They are still referred to as mutants.
Yeah.
So they're an acknowledged and recognised abhuman species.
Yep.
Species. No, I'm gonna use the word species there, but at the same time, they're allowed to serve within the Astra Militarum. They have status within the Militarum Auxilia, but they are still called mutants and have a mutant status. Like.
And I might upset a few people here, and rightly so. They are mutants. They're not humans. Harping back to our Beastmen episode, you don't call the Beastmen citizens. You know,
Well,
you don't call
it's that-
Ogrins straight up humans. They're not. They're mutants as well.
what was it? It was abhuman. It was from humans, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, abnormal. The term may be short for aberrant human, abnormal human, or less pejoratively, or derived from the High Gothic term abhumanus, from humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They're from
okay.
human, which means that they're a mutant. Well, we'll use the term species because I think it's just going to be a lot simpler for us. They're a mutant species that is being derived. So, rightly so. But they're the good ones. These are the good guys. Like, I'm a massive guard player, as everybody knows. I've always loved Ratlings in my army because I don't just see them as my snipers. I see them as my cooks, as my light-hearted entertainment, as my puppet show runners, as, you know, the guys who sneak off and get you that good little bit of tucker that you didn't think you were going to get. And it's like, oh, thank you very much for that. We're going to protect you now. Where you're sitting up in that tower sniping the enemy, we're going to make sure nothing snipes back at you. So I see them as like almost the light-hearted element of the Imperial Guard army, and I consequently see them as that in the realm of Necromunda as well. But when you're talking about how they're distrusted by more puritanical members of the Inquisition, one of the first instances I read about Ratlings was of Dark Angels not wanting to have anything to do with them. Right.
Yes,
rolling up.
yes.
Yeah. And this is exactly why I have this image of them, because they roll up to fight alongside the guard. I can't remember the story. This is like 20 years ago at least. And they fight alongside them, but then they just refuse to provide any support to the Imperial Guard because they're fighting with Ogrons and Ratlings. And all I could think to myself, and it's a wonderful picture, a second edition picture of a Ratling hoeing down on a little bit of food while they're all sniping and so forth. And I just thought, leave them alone. You know, they're doing their best, and that's the way I envisage Ratlings in Warhammer 40,000, just doing their darndest. You know, they're not really out there to hurt anybody. They're just giving it a red hot go so the Imperium doesn't scorch earth them.
Well, it's funny, like, the Dark Angels are well known to sort of hate on anything that isn't human.
Yeah.
Which, it annoys me. Because, like, yeah, you may disagree with them, but at the same time, you're like, they're still part of the Imperium. They're still there fighting the same fight as you.
Yeah.
And, you know, I get it, they don't wear shoes, and, you know, they're, I don't know if you ever read the Dragonlance books, but, like, they're that classic halfling mentality of the Tasselhoff Barefoot, where they're just constantly, they don't steal things, they just find them, even though they weren't lost.
Yeah. It's like, that's fairly light. If I pick that up, it comes with me because it's so light. Oh, well, I'll just take it. You know.
Did you know this fits right in my rucksack?
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Why would somebody make something rucksack-sized if not to be put into my rucksack? That's ridiculous. Yeah. Borrowed. Yeah.
But borrowed, that's it.
So it's coming back to me now, one of the things from that story is the Dark Angels actually cut off communications with the Imperial Guard. Like, they just rock up and just start devastating the joint. You know, and it's a Dark Angel favourable centric story. So they're just like rock and rolling everybody that's coming in their pathway, but no communication with the guard. And they're just like, no, we don't want nothing to do with you. Go suck a fart. Which is disgusting.
It's genuinely ridiculous. Imagine if you just rocked up somewhere, saw that the guy you were working with was a ginger, and you just started throwing rocks at him. Like, don't get me wrong, fair, but he's also still doing the same job as you, much like those Ratlings.
So all my Welsh and ginger brothers out there, on behalf of Underhive Lorekeepers, I do apologise for the ramblings of Samuel. I don't believe it's true. I think you're fantastic people.
I'm still pissed off that Party made me love a caryatid.
No, this is your evolution. This is how you become a better person, Sam. You will grow and develop, and you will learn to love the tid.
Go to the next read point.
Though,
before I genuinely offend our entire audience.
Please, let's keep rolling. Though less resilient than their baseline human comrades, Ratlings are naturally excellent shots. It is said that a Ratling marksman can take the head off a heretic from over a kilometre away. Coupled with their knack of staying out of harm's way, this makes Ratlings formidable snipers who can exact a withering toll upon superior enemy forces. So from a militaristic tabletop point of view, that's what you're rolling your Ratlings at. You're not giving him 2 chain axes and a steel hat and go for it, brother. You're giving him a long rifle, a nice little point where he can run out of, because he's not going to kill everybody, but he's got to get out of there somehow. What's the matter?
Gang idea.
Oh no.
Ratling corpse grinder cult.
Oh my god, yes. I mean, no, that's not what they do.
But no, think about it. Like, the new gnome Blood Bowl team.
Oh wow.
Mix
yes.
them. Mix. Was it the Iron Golems had that Chaos Dwarf?
Yep.
Like, if you can get a proper batch of like mixed stunties and that, and then just chain cleavers, and because they're hobbits. Yeah. They're effectively 40k hobbits. They love their tucker, and what's better than fresh barbecue? Like, just imagine.
Just so
Just
everybody
imagine.
knows, I've got really sore ribs at the moment. I don't know why. That's my sickness. And Sam has made me laugh so hard. We've had to have a little pause there because it's like fresh tucker. Just like you're literally fighting them, slicing off a little bit, throw it on the burner on the back, and then just have a nibble as you're still fighting that opponent.
Well, because your juves in a corpse grinder cult can have hand flamers.
Yeah.
So they're literally, you're cutting some of the flesh off them, throwing it on the ground, the juve cooks it,
Yeah.
gives it to you, and you've got it like char grilled.
Increase my toughness by 1. Bring me back to starting
Actually-
toughness, thank you.
It would need to be cooked with propane because you want to taste the flavour, not the heat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, not
Taste
you.
the meat, not the heat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. No,
Shout out to my King of the Hill fans. Yeah, I want someone to make Ratling corpse grinder cultists.
They would look so
Or just do what I do. I put a squat in every single gang I do. I want someone to start putting a Rattling of some description in every gang they do.
And not a cook. Not a, like, yes.
Not
okay,
a cook,
Not a cook.
yeah.
We know they can cook. You know, I would, do you know what they would be great as? Dome runners.
Well,
Sneaky little
This is a-
dome runner. Just,
yeah.
Yeah.
This goes back to them, obviously, with their sniping, because they're naturally excellent shots, and you know you can just imagine because they're so small, they'd be agile, they'd be getting into the places that you wouldn't be looking for a sniper there because you're like, no one can fit in that
Yeah.
gap. Don't
And
be
then
dumb.
snap.
All of a sudden, your gang boss or your commander has just had their head removed
Yeah.
with a high powered rifle, and it's like, where did that come from? And you just see this, this guy sort of peek out from behind a rock, just point at his eyes, point at your eyes, and be like,
I'm a shadow.
What's up?
Yeah. I just see them like all camouflage painted up. Like, Arnie.
tiny Rambos.
Yeah, Rambo or Arnie. Like,
Arnie and Commando when he puts
Yeah.
the paint across his face.
like he's gone totally jungle. He's like, nah, I've embraced the hive. Like, nobody can.
Okay.
And then you give him a bow. You give him the explosive bow as his sniper weapon. That's very, very guttural of me, but yeah, that's what explosive bow. Just tiny little Rambo, red bandana. Oh, he would look sick. I wish I had this
okay.
talent to be able to make this miniature.
Okay, conversion idea. This is for our Imperial Guard player listeners. Sly Marbo, but as a Ratling for a Catachan army.
Yes, and it makes total sense.
Yep.
And give him augmetics if you go, oh, how do I justify the strength or something? Just give him an augmetic. Give him like this, what do they call them? The suits that you wear on the an exosuit, just like an exosuit that he can just wear. And it doesn't have to be much. Just like a little cog here, a little connection to the back. Oh, Sam, to have the talent to make these miniatures, or somebody can.
We have friends who are talented.
Yes.
All of our talented friends and listeners. Make the dumb things we think of. And some of you are doing it. Some of you are doing it so well.
Yeah, massive shout out to Schnubbutz, who sent us who posted up some images of an arborist gang that we talked about when we were talking about soup. And
Shout out to our boy Soup.
It's like he plucked it from my mind and went, there you go. I've taken your imagination and put it into a physical format, and they are perfect, exactly how you imagine them to be. Yeah, great. We'll have a link to them. Oh, we've probably already linked to them already, but we'll have a link to them in this episode as well. Just a great example of how off kilter you can go in Necromunda, and it's not even over the top Imperial Gothic. There's still this semblance of reality. Like, you look at them and you go, you know what? If arborists turned up like that down my street, I wouldn't trust them, but I could see them getting the job done.
Yeah. They'd take down a tree. They'd take down 4 pedestrians. It is what it is. But
Nothing would be safe. That's including the trees, and that's what you want.
And Schnubbits, or your real name, Simon, dude. There's so many Simons. It's almost like it's a really common name. Make some Ratlings, all right?
Yeah.
All of you, make some Ratlings. Just make a bunch of Abhumans. Every Abhuman episode we do, I'm expecting each of you to make one of said Abhuman.
Right, so we've gone militant, have we?
Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
okay. So attack the
I'm
Welsh,
bullying
the
now.
Gingers, and just force everybody to go get miniatures and make them for us.
I'm an internet bully now. I'm an internet bully. Come at me. I can't be intimidated.
No,
Come on.
I was looking at what
I'm
you were
far
about
too
to do.
cute. I'm far too cute.
Yeah, okay. Next read point, please.
Well, much like me for my cuteness,
God.
inevitably the Abhuman Ratlings face prejudice from the baseline human troops they serve alongside, and their manvents. Yet their skill as thieves, fencers, and black marketeers tends to win them acceptance. Indeed, guardsmen who give the Ratlings too much grief will often find themselves mysteriously short of ammunition in the heat of battle, while their diminutive tormentors watch gleefully through telescopic sights.
That's exactly what I said at the start.
Yep.
You help them. You help your little, your little battlefield fairies, and you get fairy gifts. If you're bad to the battlefield fairies, you lose stuff. Things go vanishing. I see them as battlefield fairies, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Caryatid's a bit awesome. But, like, this is perfect for Necromunda.
Yeah.
Like, immediately, Cold Trader. You do a Ratling Cold Trader with, like, his Ogren hired help as the, as the, sort of, the troops there. And then his various black marketeer buddies. But this tiny dude is the one in charge of the whole operation,
Yeah.
And then, but thieves, okay. Who's the false noble, like the hanger on with like the falsehood?
Yeah, that's it. It's the false.
Nah, falsehood's like a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember it at some point,
Yep.
or I'm not. And right now, at least one of our listeners is screaming in a public place, and people are walking away from them quickly.
It's an easy, low-hanging Samuel correction, guys. Go for it.
Yeah, but like just stuff like that. Ammo jacks.
I was just thinking ammo jacks, would they be perfect? But do you know what you do with them? Just for a little bit of your own fun. You give them like a little automated cart. So they just have like this little cart that is like, it's got its own little legs, or, it's tracked or something, and they just track along with it. And you can hear it trundling up as you're just like pumping rounds down range. It's like boom, boom, boom. And then you hear, you're like, oh, he's here. We're sorted. We got this. And you just see this pile of ammo get thrown at you. You're like, cheers, chief. Thanks.
I'm just imagining, like a bunch of people coming to Hive Primus on one of the trains going through the what are the tunnels called? The tunnels? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And it's like that scene in Harry Potter when Harry goes into the little carriage and he sits down with Ron, and I'm just imagining this Ratling coming across like, anything from the trolley, dears? And it's like knives and grenades and ammunition and for some reason like a stuffed bunny toy and just a bunch of stuff, and then there's just some rich like so and so from Gothrel's Needle will be like, we'll take the lot, and slaps down a pile of credits, and then the Ratling shoots them and takes the credits anyway because he doesn't even work on the train. He's just like, you dummies.
Absolutely. I get to see like a cursed item, incredibly like overpriced or something like that. A Caryatid skull or something like that, and it's completely made up. And the person who buys that, he just judges straight away. It's just like, oh, you're trying to buy your luck. All right. Well, you become mortal enemy number one. Sell it to him, kill him later, buy it back. It becomes a cursed item. Or not buy it back, steal it back. And
steal it back, yeah.
You create the narrative of this cursed item just by constantly selling it and killing them off and letting people know, oh, they bought that. They shouldn't have ever bought that, even though it provides this little bit of luck.
But then that Ratling, like, it's just great because you've created almost this character type from literally someone because of these weird stereotypes about their species
Yeah.
where they're not necessarily doing it because they're bad. They're just doing it because it's like,
It's a laugh.
I mean, I get it. It's funny. I get away with it. Like, and if they got caught, like the enforcers come along and be like, well, apparently you killed 96 people over 4 separate train rides. Like, wow. You're like, well, yeah. I mean, in my defense, like, it was a long train ride.
Yeah.
And the enforcers are all like, yeah, but like, you're going to prison now. And he's like, all right, fair enough. Hey, you got me. You got, you got Potato Jones. And he gets to the prison and they're like, we're going to take the cuffs off, and he hands the cuffs back to them. He's like, I took them off earlier. That's all right, lads. Yeah. And goes into prison, and then within like 3 weeks is the warden.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I envisage them just really sort of up to no good. I don't really ever see them as like evil creatures,
No.
Yeah.
No.
They're
They're not Welsh. Like,
oh my. Okay. Please refer to previous apology, listeners. But yeah, they're just naughty, like more so than anything.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of really love them, because they just like, yes, they could be really excellent snipers, but there was a good chance they were just going to stuff around on the battlefield as well, or they're just going to stuff around in the hive and be like, we could help out this fight, but I found something called a chicken. I don't know what it is, but we're going to go get it.
yeah.
Righto. So, regardless of their small stature and their questionable status as sanctioned aberrants, Ratlings have proven invaluable to the Imperium's armies time and again. They make exceptional forward scouts and are able to move covertly into fighting positions right under the nose of the enemy army. Only when the opening salvos of battle have been loosed do they reveal themselves, announcing their presence with hails of precision shots that catch the enemy completely off guard. Now forget all the Imperium's armies, forget all the salvos of armies, and replace all of that with your gang. Lighten up the night sky. And then you see the Ratlings kicking in straight after. Just going, oh yeah, that's where they're shooting from. Let's rock their little wagon. If they're not going off and chasing this chicken thing.
Well, see, to me, a super easy way to do a gang of Ratlings would be Vansar. Like low toughness. Think about it. Okay, great ballistic skill. Low toughness.
Oh, right.
Stay away from you'd have to stay away from Cyber Technica.
Yeah.
But sort of playing on that, because you get them all long lass rifles, that sort of thing there, and then go to the marketplace and buy like grapnel launchers and like smoke grenades, infra sights, and just like really tool yourself up, and boom, you've got a perfect Ratling gang.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or go the opposite and play them as Goliaths and just Gene Smith the absolute snot out of them.
Just all, I think we've said it before, but like in like overly tight suits. So they're just like, like tiny little bowler hats, massively tight suits, and hairy feet sticking out. They're just like, yep, that's me lads. I'll sort ya. That kind of thing. But in saying that, you instantly got me thinking of like my carriage idea. You mount like a heavy weapon on that, and he just like, like on a crawler or something, put it all on the same base. You'd easily be able to get it on the same base. He just walks around like with a little PS5 controller attached to it, and just walks him around the battlefield, finds his little place, and just like, little data screen on there, just boop. Oh yeah, ripped off a shot with my last cannon.
Yeah. All of a sudden things just explode.
Yeah, exactly. From God knows where. Look, I guess if we are going to talk about the gaming point of it, it is definitely something that you would be doing with a group of friends, because the height of your miniatures could potentially cause some angst with a few players. I've seen that happen before.
Listen, I get where you're coming from there, but at the same time, I'm sort of like, yeah, they're going to be smaller, so you can't see them. but they're also going to be
true.
smaller, so they can't necessarily see you.
True, yeah. I understand exactly what you're putting down there, yeah. So, they're not going to be able to draw great lines of sight or anything like that. But I just think, like, again, forget the rules, throw them out the door. It'd just be such a thematic gang. Imagine, like, an enclave of Ratlings that have got together, and they're just, why do we work for these people? Like, we all these little, micro guilds that they have, like the guild of sharpshooters and the guild of cat door maintenance and the guild of the chicken. All these things that are relevant to short people.
Guild of the chicken.
Right, well, still hunting for it. They believe. They're like Ratling corridor.
the rat door. Oh my god, rat door.
Rat doors.
The callings.
That's better. Callings. I love it. The callings. And like, yeah, they believe in the emperor, but they believe the emperor's holy chicken is what will provide them sustenance. Because somebody read once about how good chicken tastes. I was just like, yes, we can get that. Have no idea what it is, what it looks like, what it smells like. We're getting ourselves a chicken. Anyway, you imagine all these guilds come together, and you have this collective gang that just cherry picks. Almost like a Venator, I think, would be better. If you could get that low... You can get the low toughness in the Venators, I believe. Am I wrong? Correct me here, you rules master.
I don't think so.
Oh. Hey, that's a Nathan correction. Well done, buddy. On the fly.
It's rules. It's rules, though. So I guaranteed it'd be like, you can shoot weapons. I genuinely don't believe so, sir.
True. But
it's a master charlatan. Master charlatan is the guy pulling the mask off because he has the falsehood.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Suck it, listeners.
Oh.
I remember things.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's right. I'm taking no prisoners this episode.
Wow, just very aggressive. It's a good stance for you to take. Like, I mean, it's been nice doing the podcast with you, and I hope that the next host we have is a little less aggressive.
It'll be Simon.
Oh, yeah, no, he was great, actually. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, like, supply of crayons needs to be at an absolute premium, but other than that, he was great.
There's no more stupid giveaways. That's all the Patreon money right there.
Just no longer Patreon money, just crayon money. But
the Crayola Fund.
Yeah, so I would love to see an enclave of Ratlings. I think that would look really, really cool. Almost like a town, and it comes together and defends itself. And by being the sneaky little go-abouts and the friend of everybody, Abhuman, they're then protected by other gangs. And this would be really cool in a campaign where you have a Ratling enclave that just has random stuff in it. Different types of foods, different types of equipment, but there's always a chance that you can get swindled out of your money.
This is how you do that, dude. So you go to the rulebook, the 2023 book.
Yep.
And you just get you write down the entire list, and let's say it's like, I don't know, like 150 items, right, whatever. And then you use a random number generator to generate 15 items.
Yep.
And so you might be able to buy las guns, ghast, cursed, flamers, and just a totally random list.
Yeah.
And that's all you have access to for that trading cycle.
Yeah.
But then the next player generates 15 different items.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the next one, 15, because you're going to different people in the in this Ratling marketplace, in the Ratling
enclave,
like Ratling Town, within Freetown.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's cool. Ratling Town in Freetown,
like the Ratling district. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You think you go to the same market stall, but it's a different Ratling every time.
It's like, I'm sure I've met you. No, that's my cousin. Potato
That's
Ratling.
my cousin. Yeah. But that's how you do that. So it's totally different. So you'd almost have to make like little deals with each other and be like, oh, you got heavy bolters, I need a heavy bolter. And then I don't know how you do it. Maybe you're like you pass a cool check, and if you do, you get it for the cost price. But if you fail your cool check, you roll a d6, and then you roll another d6, and you have to add the first number times D, the second number.
Yes, something.
You
like
know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah,
like, and it could be.
Or double ones.
Massive.
You pay half the cost of the weapon, and you don't get the weapon. They've swindled you.
Yeah.
As they've been talking
Exactly.
to you. You've been handing over your money. You're like, where's the... And the stall's gone. You're like, what?
Yeah, and it's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And you turn it, there's just 3 Goliaths, like, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
He runs it away.
Don't make me laugh.
But man, that would be a cool campaign sort of gimmick.
The other thing I could see happening is if you go in there and they'd want you to eat, right, because they're big on their food. But if you buy too much of their food, like you're taking from them, then you would get a slap on the wrist. You'd get like food poisoning, or you'd be like, frog marched out of there, or whatever the case might be. And you would have that as a random thing. Like, a member goes up to buy food and it's like, I'll have 2 hotcakes, and they go buy the hotcakes, and then like, oh, these are fantastic. So randomly, if they roll like say a 1 or something, they actually buy another 6 hotcakes, and that's the second chart is where the problems start. Like, how many additional food did you take? Yeah.
But it's great there because you'd have someone like Big Crumb.
Yeah.
And for our Patreons, we've already had this huge spiel about Big Crumb and Big Crumb's Underhive kitchen nightmares. But yeah, you'd have someone like him there, where he's basically just. So if you're in the Ratling district, and you don't have a slopper, you just gain the effects of a slopper.
Yeah.
Because while you're resting up in this particular, Freetown campaign, you just have access to better food.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
and it would
Ratlings,
cost you the higher cost of a slopper. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You just go for that one, and you don't have to keep him on board. There's no continuous cost or anything like that. It's just a one-time hit, because that's what they provide here.
I love that. You hire him just for that round, and anyone who's out of action just comes back.
Yeah.
Because they've had a good meal, and it just happens. It's hey, what's that? You've got a headache. Well, I found this headache medicine. I'll add that to the soup. And, there you go. And oh, dude,
that's such a cool idea. The Ratling enclave of Freetown. I love it. I'm very happy with it.
Oh man. Okay. Well, apart from their amazing ability to set up marketplaces in Abhuman colonies, the effectiveness of rattling fire can often mislead the enemy into believing they face an entire platoon of Imperial guardsmen, or an entire gang of Ratling Van Sar, which in turn can draw large-scale assaults towards the snipers. With no hope of holding their own in close combat, much like Van Sar, Ratlings have perfected the art of hastily vacating thereabouts immediately after firing, scurrying away before securing a new vantage point from which to assassinate more of their assailants. And this immediately reminds me, and I don't remember what codex it was in, but it might have even been like the 7th or 8th edition Imperial Guard Codex, when the Ratling is aiming up for a shot, and at his feet is a dead Chaos Space Marine.
Yeah, I know exactly which one. I think it's 4th. It's
wow.
4th.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But you don't rely on my memory for that one. But anyway, go on.
But man, I love this about them, where it's just, they're hobbits. Like I've said this before already, they're hobbits, and firstly, Lord of the Rings movies, amazing, and like when Merry and Pippin become, one of them, Merry, I think, basically became a Rohirrim.
Oh right,
and,
where one becomes the King's Guard,
like the King's Guard, and the other one becomes
Pippin.
like a Rohirrim.
Courageberry.
And
Courageberry,
oh man, and like in my mind, it's they are so much more powerful their stature and
Yeah.
their size, it would really imply where, you know, yeah, they've got no chance of fighting you in close combat, but they'll take the shot, and then while you're charging, they're running one direction.
boot
Their
scooting.
9 mates are already other places, being like, yep, 3 creds says he gets behind those rocks. No. 3 creds says he gets behind that, that rusty girder there. And then all of a sudden, he's hiding, they're laughing at each other, and then those two are shooting 2 more that were coming up through that particular tunnel. And then they're playing the game.
See,
and it's that cat and mouse.
Yes, I was just about to say that. This is what Necromunda allows you to do with characters and creatures like Ratlings. You, on the battlefield, you can, in a 40k battlefield, you can take your Ratlings, you can fire your shot, and then they used to have move and shoot and scoot, and then you get to move them. And you go, that's very thematic, that's exactly how they'd roll. But in the presence of Necromunda, exactly what we're talking about with the Enclave, you can apply that whole shoot and scoot mentality to everything that they do, because you can mess around with it in a campaign, because you can mess around with it on the tabletop. Just be open with embracing that nature of them. There's only a handful of things that they have that are really tick boxes, and one is they're great shots, they're small, and they shoot and scoot. And then the other part is, yes, they can cook. But Necromunda allows you to do exactly what we're talking about there. Like the Enclave, they sell you something, and then they're gone, and they're like, oh, what? How? Where'd they go? Do you know what I mean? Or they're shooting from the back of a vehicle, and suddenly they're disappeared off into the dust. They've vanished off the back of the vehicle somehow. Like, I'm not going to create a rule system for it, but it's the mentality of like, how can we make these characters something more evocative? Like a little small gang of them of 5 that just cause havoc in your campaigns would be so cool. But what you were talking about with Lord of the Rings, that's my gang idea. And it's probably been done. It's probably been touched on before, but
Wait, what?
a Fellowship of the Ring gang. Yeah, that'd be cool. So you get 4 hobbits, right? And equip them like you play in Necromunda. You don't equip them like, I've got Sting. Is that and a shiny mail shirt?
That's a power sword.
Yeah, that's a power sword.
That's carapace armor.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe Frodo's different. Power sword, carapace armor. But the other 3 would be left, to a frying pan and a whole bunch of dodging and ducking and weaving. And then you throw in a couple of other members there. You get, like, say, an off-world elder who's fighting alongside them, who's got a long lass.
Oh. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. That is sick.
Yeah, so the elder, then you would have a couple of humans, maybe one, like, guard officer who... Oh, do you know what? You have a guard officer who thinks he should be the King Dingling. That would be a Boromir, right? Who just turns out to be a mad fighter. And then you have...
He just dies after every game. Shout out to, Sean Bean for dying and everything.
Yeah. Roll anything on the 1 to 66 chart. You die.
Automatic 66.
You would have Aragorn. I would see it as either a fallen noble or a fallen commissar who is fighting alongside these Ratlings, who has gone, I'm going to get you guys out of this battlefield. And they maybe they're the only 2 survivors, the guard officer and the commissar. And the commissar's like, no, this mission's more important, what our Ratlings are doing, as opposed to what Boromir is suggesting of like, no, let's steal his shiny cog that he's got there. Let's use it in our Titan, or whatever he's going to use the shiny cog in. And then you would have a squat, unfortunately, as Gimli. It would work perfectly.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
Oh, because he'd be a squat, and it's like even
okay.
I don't like the dwarves, and
That's because Steve plays them.
100%. Oh, this is the miniatures are brilliant. The lore is fantastic. The guy who played Warhammer Fantasy against me for 15, 20 years played them all the time, and made me hate them. So that transfers across to the squats. So, but yeah, somebody go out there and do a Fellowship of the Ring freaking gang. I demand it. I'm getting aggressive too.
Yeah, this is a very aggressive episode.
Short
I've
people.
changed my...
Do you know what we're suffering from? Short man syndrome. We're angry because we're talking about short men.
I'd like to apologise to all my short listeners. That was completely inappropriate of Nathan. We
blow it out your
of
nose.
the Underhive Lorekeepers do not agree with his incredibly cruel and uncaring statements. We love each and every one of you, except the Welsh and Gingers.
Yeah,
yes,
there we go.
no, we love everyone, but I want to change it away from Van Sar. I actually want to make the gang from before based around the Dalark, because they're movement 5. The leader and champions. The Narkgul is a movement 6. No, you can still do it because agility for the leader is a primary skill set, and the Narkgul, like that's the Narkgul. Can you imagine this, like just jacked up Ratling with a pair of just like carving knives?
Yes.
Like he's a slopper gone nuts, and he just sneaks out of the shadows and just be like, "You're mine."
Yeah.
And just
He's finding that person who left the 1-star review. He doesn't know who they are. It just charges people going, "It was you."
I did not burn the tiramisu. You don't even cook tiramisu.
It's not how you pronounce it either. Anyway, well, that may not be how you pronounce tiramisu, but I'm about to go into a whole bunch of mispronunciations.
Mispronunciations? All right.
My ribs. Mispronunciations anyway. Yes! Yeah. I get a gold star and one of the crayons.
Sort of real deliquation pronunciation from you there, brother.
It was very
well,
deliquation.
Moving on to some other D words. Though devious, duplicitous, and morally dubious, Ratlings possess such unique talents that they will always find a place in the armies of the Imperium. Whether killing off enemy officers or procuring black market amasec for their own, these adaptable abhumans have certainly found their niche in the ranks of the Astra Militarum. And this is exactly what we're talking about. Ignore the words Astra Militarum or Imperial Guard or regiments and just think of it as gangs, as domes, as settlements, where, change that. Whether killing off enemy gang leaders or procuring black market weaponry for their own, these adaptable abhumans have certainly found their niche in the underhives of Necromunda. Like, you're literally just changing a couple of words, and you're taking this skill set, these stereotypes and that sort of thing from the wider 40k universe and distilling it down to its core elements on Necromunda, where already I can imagine basically every hanger-on, every hired gun, like all of those things turned into different Ratlings, because you can just imagine. It's like, are you a Star Trek fan?
Yeah. Do you know, actually, my favourite is Generations.
Okay, like it's weird that our friendship ended because of that, but fair enough.
Generations is cool.
Well, in Deep Space Nine, which is my favourite version of Star Trek, there's an episode where Quark leads a group of Ferengi and they're like, Ferengi are basically these like traders and merchants, and they're very sneaky, they're very deceitful, they're devious, duplicitous, and morally dubious. Very deliquation, if you know what I mean. And like, there's one where Ferengi aren't known for like being tough, but there's one where this guy's a nut job. He's basically like a mass murderer, and they're talking about like assaulting enemy positions and that, and that's how I'm picturing these, some of these Ratlings, where they've taken on these personalities. Like, this Ratling was a slopper for a Goliath gang for a while, and all of a sudden he started taking on the persona of that gang.
Yeah.
And damn it, gang idea. A gang of Ratlings where each of them, and I think I've said this for someone else before, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Each of them is from a different gang. So you'd have a Ratling Goliath, a Ratling Cawdor, a Ratling Escher.
Oh, the Ratling Escher would be so cool.
Yeah,
That
you
would
just
look like
imagine it.
Horatio.
It'd be Horatio, but with this, this big purple and turquoise hair, and this this stiletto blade that's actually taller than she is, and 3 fear cats, and she's like, if I get tired, I can ride one of the cats into battle.
Exactly.
And everyone's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That would be sick. Actually,
That would be
that's my squat gang. Each of the squats is
that's
a different.
right. It is too. Yeah.
It's better as Ratlings.
Well, you know what
It's
you have to
so
do.
much better as Ratlings.
Necromunda's just around the corner. Go for it, brother. Whole Ratling gang. Actually, I do think there's plastic Ratlings coming in the not too distant future. Remember
They were on that. It was like the chicken and the apple, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was food in a crate or something like that. And I remember I was talking to you about it, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder what these are." And you're like, "Obviously Ratlings," and I was like, "Oh, yes, obviously." It took me a full moment to realise what was going on. But I love the idea of what you were saying about how they're influenced, like getting more and more influenced from their surroundings, and what's going on with them, and who their gang is, and where they actually are in the hive as well. Do you know we haven't even touched on chaos afflicted Ratlings?
Oh, that's terrifying. Because imagine like a Slaneshi Ratling.
Oh, just imagine a little bird-headed one, like tiny little useless wings on the back of him, just going around, just changing things.
He'd be completely normal, except he'd have chicken feet.
Yes, that would be perfect. That would actually be perfect.
my Slaneshi Ratling, he's just obsessed with like only the finest foods. Like he's this glutton. He's basically Grom the Paunch.
Oh, that's cool.
With like he'd have like a chain knife and like a chain fork.
Chain fork.
Chain fork.
You've heard
the
it here
ultimate
first.
close combat weapon.
Oh my god, I want to see a chain fork. That is the best thing ever.
And he's the arch nemesis of soup.
Oh, yes. He needs a good name. We'll think of that. He needs a cracker of a name. Oh, wow. And he's just forever trying to find... And he just disregards Soup's food. It's just like, this is trash, where everybody loves it. It's like, this is disgusting. I need to take this thing out of the world, or out of existence, so that at least we can have good food and not this garbage.
He was the former slopper of the Underhive lumberjacks.
Booyah.
And when he was cast away, he delved into the dark arts and worship of the dark gods to try and find the perfect recipe to overcome his adversary and be the greatest cook on Necromunda.
That is so good, because all the musks and stuff like that, he'd be pouring them into the soup. Like, oh, have some of this, and you just watch them all like, oh, getting all like a little bit weird and fruity about it, and then okay, that was a good one. I'll read, and he's got all these little vials of different musks and scents that they're not actually food, but he pours them in because they're I don't know, maybe been distilled from demons or something.
Oh, dude! And he literally built around him. Remember, if you're on our Patreon, you would have listened to our episode where we talked about Big Big Crumb, where we had the chef gang where they're going out to get the different ingredients and that. I can just imagine like this gang built around this Slaneshi Ratling. They'd be like, what ingredient have you brought to the master? I have here the tears of an Adepta Sororitas as she forsake her vows towards the Emperor, and I've captured them, and you can use them. And that.
This is that dark gothic that we like. That I love about 40k. Like, we're obviously playing around with the idea, a bit more lighthearted. But like the tears of the Sororitas, the the shaved horn of a defeated beastman or something like that.
Yeah.
All these things that come about, and he just like all these little vials hanging off him, so he's just covered, and like occasionally just like breaks one open just for a sniff anyway, and that's how he keeps himself going, hunting after soup. Oh
Yeah.
oh, we need a name. I'll throw it out there to the community.
Yeah, come up with a name for our weird Slaneshi Ratling. And you know how I'd make this Ratling gang? The Warhammer the Old World, they're releasing all those classic goblin models.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's I think it's the goblin mob. You know, you can have them with either the bows or the spears.
Yeah.
Remember they had those big wide hips, those weirdly long legs that almost hunched over stature.
Yeah.
You need almost more you need human heads or Votan heads because they got the short beards and stuff.
Yeah.
But them and I don't remember if any of them have bare feet. I don't even know if they're out yet.
The Votan.
No, the re-released Goblin stuff for Old World.
Some of them do. A lot
But
of them
yeah,
have
but
like...
no, the Goblin Wolf Riders all have bare feet.
Yeah.
So you'd use the Goblin Wolf Rider feet. Like, this is going to be an expensive gang because you're going to need a box of the Goblins and a box of the Wolf Riders. But then, yeah, like, that's how I'd do them, especially because they've got, like, I remember I've got some of those Goblins here from, like, 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, mate, I've got loads. Like, a ridiculous amount.
All right, well, I might need some to make Ratlings.
Go for your life, yeah. They will look very corrupted as Ratlings, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, that is probably the best idea we've had for the Ratlings. But I guess we've been a bit remiss. We haven't actually spoken about where they've come from. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good point. Let's go back to where the beginning should have started. Yeah. Nathan, where do Ratlings come from?
The Imperial world known as Ornsworld. That was very radio broadcasting of me, wasn't it?
That was very nice.
Yeah, I like that. The Imperial world known as Ornsworld is the primary Ratling homeworld located in the Segmentum Obscurus. Ratlings are the smallest type of abhuman known to the Imperium, their ancestors having become stunted by thousands of standard years of inbreeding on worlds with climates and environments even more conducive to human life than ancient Terra and possessed of abundant harvests. So basically, lots of food, lots of good stuff. Don't need to grow that tall. It's all close to the ground. Eat yourself stupid.
So, what you're telling me is if we had no natural predators and just, you could like just roll out of bed and land in like a gravy fountain, we would all be 3 feet tall, have giant hairy feet, and be able to shoot the eyeball of a heretic at a kilometre.
Yeah.
There's literally no downside to this.
Yeah, right. I wonder what the Imperium actually did to that world.
Actually, no. The thousands of standard years of inbreeding. That's the downside.
Nah, just turn a blind eye to it. Yeah. Well, you'll probably end up with a blind eye. Blind eye, third eye.
You're 3 foot tall and you're great with a rifle. No one's going to question you.
Do you know what? If that's what thousands of years of inbreeding left them with, thank themselves very lucky. Just be like, yep, cool. We could have ended up with so many bad, wrong things happening to us, but we ended up as stunty and a great shot. I'll take that.
Could have been Ogren, could have been cat people, could have been,
mate, 3 legs, sorts of nonsense. 2 tails, like an arm coming out your nose, you name it. I've had a chance for everything.
I love it. I love it. But that's great. Like, I love the fact that they're in the Segmentum Obscurus, and it's basically like, yeah, the Dark Age of technology and, all that sort of stuff happened, and the warp storms occurred, and all these planets have been separated from each other, and there was death and destruction and chaos and filth and greed, and the Ratlings are just like, man, what'd be great for this afternoon? Oh, what's that? If we had 3 suckling pigs covered in pineapple. You are absolutely right. And after that, do you want to hook up? Yes, I do.
I know the motto of the planet. It's shag and shoot and snacking.
Shag and shoot and snacking. Okay, firstly, I love it.
Just this banner waving as the Imperium turn up. Shagging, shooting, snacking. just a leg of some beast as their main icon. But anyway, what were you saying? You love it. Yeah.
That's the thing. It explains why so many of them have issue. And you can just imagine this Ratling gang. They've taken over a little section of the Underhive, or they're in like one of the shanty towns outside of the hive proper, and there's these enforcers are sneaking up. Like, yeah, we're gonna get them, and they come up, and there's just this ridge runner out the front of the base, and it's swaying gently side to side, and this enforcer looks on the back, and there's a bumper sticker: "If the ridge runners are rocking, don't come a knocking."
And then gets shot by a sniper.
And then gets shot by the 11 snipers because it's literally just their Ogren hired help sitting in there trying to open a can of beans. And
they got money on him.
And the Ratling gang's all been positioned around because they've been watching everyone come because it's right between 11sies and lunch.
Yeah.
So it's when they're at their most alert.
They would snack like hobbits as well, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. Man, Matt, how does this how does a Ratling snack when it's in the warp, though? Like, if there's no sense of time. What does it do?
Because the ships and that have internal chronometers.
Oh yeah, so the gala fills up. Yeah. Right.
It doesn't matter. They still run on ship's time.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
I was concerned that they would miss a meal.
Yeah, but it's like in the Gaunt's Ghost novels, and it's one of those. It's another one of these instances where whenever you want to reference something for the Imperial Guard and how things happen, it ends up being something by Dan Abnett.
Yeah. True.
Where it's just like, when they were going to certain planets, when they were going back to Geryon, the Gaunt was wearing a watch that was set to the local time of this planet because he'd been there before.
Oh, right, yeah.
And slowly, bit by bit, they would adjust the ship time by 15 minutes or half an hour or an hour or whatever to sort of bring the time zone into acclimatization with where they were going.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, they would obviously still be able to do that on the ship, but I can imagine these Ratlings and that would still have their own watches because it would all be set to their own personal. Well, this is 11 o'clock from where I'm from, and this is 11 o'clock where I'm from.
Yeah.
But also, different hives would have different methods of time measurement and stuff. So it'd be like, well, hold on, no, it's my lunch break now. And then in 34 minutes, it's your lunch break, so I'm going to have a snack then as well, because then, 84 minutes from now, it's Timmy's lunch break, and we're going to both have to have a sandwich then, because he'll be having his lunch, and he was snacked at my lunch.
It's part of the rules. You can't eat in front of another Ratling,
Well, this next part is a little bit interesting, because it comes from, I'm assuming, some official publication. And it gives you the normal information about Ratlings. They're not tall, they're not strong. But it says that there's a few things that they are. They are idle, they are hedonistic, they are gregarious, they are over-friendly, and they are sexually promiscuous. And their lives are spent eating until sick, drinking copious amounts of intoxicating beverages, and procreating uncontrollably, almost like abhuman rabbits. I was about to call them abhuman ratlings. These small, loud, hungry, and lecherous creatures are called runtlings, stunties, halflings, and obviously ratlings by other humans, among less broadcastable things. Literally every part about that is a different facet of our Slaneshi Ratling from before.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it's not just the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but it's, they consume the greed. They consume those up-hive delights, They're through that network of Ratlings from the servants Lord Helmore's table all the way down to, I'm going to call him the Ginormagantuan, is my Slaneshi Ratling.
Yeah.
All the way down to the realm of the Ginormagantuan,
Yep.
where, these, the amble souffle, with drizzled in, Attilan wine sauce, and he's drinking the 400-year-old, like Cadian Amasec that was given to him by the cold trader, and he consumes and he consumes and he consumes and he vomits it all up, and he's like, "Bring me more."
Oh,
It's
but that's perfect. It's exactly the perfect description. Just this gluttonous approach, but it's all about, like, it's very hedonistic. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, no. It's all about me. You keep feeding me. But what I derived from all of that was, and I want to go back to what you were saying, but I just want to say this again: shagging, shooting, snacking.
shagging, shooting, snacking, and also, it's Horatio Valentino.
It is. It is 100% Horatio.
He's cruising from dome to dome,
Yep.
settlement to settlement. He's just, it's the 41st millennium, and I gotta get that many.
yeah. Just having a dip at everything. Yeah.
But I love this. I love this about Ratlings. Like, they truly are. Like, every form of abhuman seems to represent a different sort of base direction at which humanity goes.
Oh yeah.
And Ratlings truly are the self-indulgence of humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess, like, I mean, we've talked about a lot about their stature and what they do on the battlefield, but there's one last point that we've got, and it's Ratlings also tend towards kleptomania, as commissars report petty theft and illegal gambling rings increase substantially when Ratlings are attached to an Astra Militarum platoon or regiment. Ratlings have also been known to supply non-standard weaponry to Imperial guardsmen willing to pay a premium. Now, as we are due for this episode, we replace all references of Astra Militarum with Necromunda or Gang or Hive.
Yes. Yes.
And that's exactly perfect of what we were talking about them. Like, I mentioned earlier in the episode about how you could just envisage them just thieving stuff and bringing it out to somebody else and
Borrowing.
borrowing. And this is exactly what the Enclave's about. So they're perfect. They're actually the perfect style of character for Necromunda, in my opinion, because they embody exactly what it is to be on Necromunda. Sneaky, illegal, petty theft, coming up with weapons and gear that you don't normally see. Yeah, they tick all of the necro boxes, in my opinion.
But you can just imagine this, this Ratling who's, I don't know, whether he was there for genuine reasons, whether he was part of an auxiliary unit or whatever. He somehow gets down onto Necromunda from the Eye of Selene, or, he's working the docks and somehow gets down there and, he steals a crate of lasguns, and he gets them across to, these outcasts or these bandits or whatever, and because of that, then all of a sudden the local enforcers need better weaponry, or the local militia need better weaponry to stop the bandits, and he's just like, I can get you some lasguns, it's like, or I can get you some long lasses. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So he sort of goes back up his chain to some corrupt quartermaster somewhere and gets the supplies to them and gets them to the militia. And then all of a sudden the bandits are like, oh, I need a name for this Ratling. Gunny. His name's Gunny.
Gunny's good.
And they're like, hey, Gunny, we need, these lasguns just aren't enough. We need something heavier. And he goes, oh, man, I can get you some crew weapons. He gets them a couple of heavy bolters, you know, a couple of tripods.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the militia's like, oh man, now we're going to need something else. He goes, how about I get you missile launchers? Because he's feeding both sides of the conflict.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they've wiped each other out.
Yeah.
And to fill the vacuum of power, he gets a bunch of his Ratling mates. And now they're the dominant gang in this settlement.
Oh, see,
And it's just...
I would almost see it like they would start to sponsor another gang. Do you know what I mean? They'd be like, hey guys, there's a bit of a power vacuum here. Do you guys want to take this on board? But you come to us and we'll keep providing for you. You know? So they almost create like a perpetual cycle of just keep buying from us. You know? Industry. Industry.
Yes, industry. The local Orlocks are like, listen, we're falling behind 6% on our auto guns. Gunny, can you get us some? Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's gonna cost you. You know how it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're wheeling and dealing. And so the Gunny and his little crew have somehow become the power behind gangs in this particular section of this particular hive.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. Like, this kleptomania, but they're perfect. They're a perfect little, almost like, merchant class is the wrong way. And I don't want to just say they're guilders, but they're black marketeers.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they are, because, you know, they're able to... They may not necessarily see that there's something wrong with what they're doing. And so it's just like, no, we're getting people things they need, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
We get stuff in return.
Yeah, if we borrow it, we borrow it. It's just,
Yeah.
That sort of ticks the box for me as well, because I want to thieve stuff. So it makes me feel good. I thieve something, fulfill my urge for my kleptomania, and then I make money off it, which is also part of my natural behaviour. This, as I said, they're naughty no-goods of the highest order, of the shortest order.
Of the shortest order. But it's like the old... We keep going back to the guard, because it's just so much of the... so much of the lore goes back in that direction. But it's like the old veteran squads were always listed as being able to have access to specific weaponry, like they may have auto guns, or you'd have an infantry squad and you just have a bunch of them with shotguns, or
just more special weapons, or sniper rifles, and just variations.
Sniper rifles and that sort of stuff. And in my mind, like, they were getting a lot of those either through battlefield trophies or from the local Ratlings in the regiment, where the regiment was just like, oh, listen, man, I need something just a little bit special. Oh, hey, I managed to get my hands on a crate of these Urdeshi pattern auto pistols. Like, how many are in your squad? 9. I've got 10 of them. You can have 2. Yeah. It's all it's going to cost. Yeah. All it's going to cost you is, hey, you get me. I just need a dishwashing servitor. What do you need a dishwashing servitor for? What do you need auto pistols for?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, all right, I'll get you the servitor. Then all of a sudden he gets that and takes the servitor to the kitchen to give to the regiment's, chef. I shouldn't say chef, just like mess cook.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, you got me a dishwashing servitor? He's like, of course. You said you needed a dishwashing servitor.
Yeah.
Where are those pies you promised me? It's like, here it is. Here's the, every meal, you and the other Ratlings get 10 pies.
This is all for pies. I love it. It's
all for pies.
That's exactly how they would orientate as well. They'd just be like, we want good food. We're sick of eating this garbage. We know the only thing he makes is good pies. So
yeah, but the officers get pie. Why don't we get pie?
Yeah, exactly. That's mad. I love it. There's actually a whole short story in that.
Well, so we've talked a lot about Ratlings. Now I think we've given out about 16 different gang ideas.
Yeah.
Now we obviously could talk about our favourite Ratling, and that is Horatio Valentino. But that's going to have to come later on, because we've already talked about Big Big Crumb in one of our Patreon episodes. But, alright. Gang idea, Ratlings. I want a really Necromundan gang idea from you.
Necromundan. Ooh, that like it's actually surprisingly difficult to go down that pathway. But I would almost go down the way of a gang that trades, like traders, that are the go-betweens between the other gangs. You know what I mean? So they're like, oh, you need las guns? We'll get you las guns. Oh, you got armor plates you want to sell, Mr. Goliath? Yeah, we can move that on. You don't want to put that into your tithe. You don't want to have that going up the spire. That's fine. We'll ship that for you. So they become like a bunch of I don't know, runners and gunners, sort of, well, not runners really, but haulers and gunners. So they're basically constantly moving gear around. You would almost run them as Orlocks, I would say, just because the access to weaponry and just the Orlock style, you know, where they're constantly... Yeah. So that's why I could see them playing out, and it's all about, like, I'm still obsessed with the idea of them being in a little enclave where they're just like, oh yeah, we just all function together, and this is our little group that goes off, and they go support the network that is currently existing between House Escher, House Delark, and House Orlock, and they're just moving material in and around all of those three while sort of staying on the peripheral. They sort of become like this neutral party in a way, without being neutral, obviously, because it's Necromunda. There are no neutrals.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you'd have this group that just acts on the peripheral. Again, I'd probably use the House Orlock rules. But the problem is I don't know, if you're going to run Ratlings, you just got to deal with it and just -1 toughness from all your boys. Just deal with it.
It's almost like the entire gang is like the... remember the Book of the Outcast, the rules for the different traders? And I think it was the connected trader.
Yeah.
Where if you had one of them, you could actually freely trade items between other gangs taking part of the campaign.
Yeah.
So almost like they are a gang of like connected traders.
Yes, that's why I'd see it happening. It's like they become this element that everybody sort of trusts. There's an animal in nature that does it as well, where it's like friends with everybody, and I think it might be the little cleaning fish or whatever that just goes and swims into the fish, other fish's mouths, or you know, whatever, cleans their mouths and moves on. This is kind of what it does. They go in, they help out, they do this and that, they swindle the gang, but then, you know, House Escher will just be like, well, you know what, we're dealing with Ratlings. We expect to get swindled at least once a week from them. So if they've got us only once a quarter or once a fortnight, sorry, yeah, good luck to you. They can have those extra credits they nabbed from us.
Yeah, they nabbed the extra cash from us, but did they shoot that Goliath, you know, Forge Torrent like they promised they would? They did. So you know what? We'll chalk this up to a we win, they win type situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they would try to be everybody's friend. They would just play the scenarios. So I don't like. I mean, obviously you'd be equipping them with long rifles and so forth, but I could see them running around with like auto pistols that would be almost the size of auto guns. So
yeah,
you know.
like remember every early sort of like 90s 2000 movie where they had like the really big Uzis? Yeah, and that's actually just a little auto pistol. It's just in this tiny little Ratling's hands.
Exactly. Yeah, in the hands of a Ratling, it looks like this monstrous thing. So like even like having to put auto gun on a tripod just to be able to shoot it, just because like
the best. I really like that, and you could you could almost run them like when you do need to get into conflict. It's just an aggressive trading agreement. Like,
Yeah.
If we prove that we have better gear, then they're going to want to buy gear from us.
Yeah,
Aren't they?
exactly. Or you know what? They actually tried to hornswoggle us. So we're gonna do our hornswoggling via the form of a bullet.
We can't let that stand.
Yeah.
Like, imagine what damage this is going to do to our reputation.
Exactly. That's the way I would play them and run them. I think it would take quite a bit of schmoozing in a campaign to make them work. Like you'd have to have some adaptable rules and some other things that would come up from the arbitrator, but they would definitely add a really cool element. What about yourself? What's your gang idea?
Man, I want to say either the forces of the Ginorma Ganchuin,
Yeah.
or just we've talked about Horatio Valentino and his harem of former lovers, but I want to go. I want to go the opposite. I actually want to run them as an Orlok gang, like you've said.
Yeah, right.
And I want to go. What were they called? Was it the Militarum? The Militarum Auxilia.
Yeah.
And do them as basically almost like a Catachan squad, where they're like, they're the badass versions of Ratlings, where they've got like the bigger muscles and that sort of thing, but they've got the ammo bags over the shoulders, and the Cadian style helmets with the low sticks in the side. Basically every movie about the Vietnam War ever, and have them like on a sump boat.
Righto.
Like just basically a sump, like one of those big fan boats, just
like a
cruising
hovercraft
around.
type thing.
Yeah, like a hovercraft, but make them spider hunters. So their whole thing is, they'll have big nets and these harpoon launchers on their hovercraft and they're cruising through and they're doing the hunting of these spiders and harvesting the eyes and that, and then they're taking that back to, these trading towns and that sort of thing.
That's cool.
People are just like, this doesn't make sense that that these little guys are able to do so much damage, but they'd have one Ogren and they'd call them Tiny, and the boss would be like, the Big Stitch, and he'd be one of the smallest of all of them, but he's just a proper hard nut, like, and lots of auto guns and shotguns and harpoon launchers and just really not living like Ratlings.
Yeah.
But just being just a little bit different. I think that'd be real cool.
That would be absolutely awesome to see them like harvesting all the bits of spider as well, and like having it all across their sump boat, and just like having little bits of trophies hanging off them, and you'd have a rack of spider jerky, and that was like their that's their culinary specialty.
Yeah, but then you'd have like Ratling wreckers.
Oh, that would be cool.
But you'd give them like, I'd give them like hand flamers and have them jumping from side to side and quick burst of fire to sort of kill off smaller creatures and that. But you're almost pre-cooking your food. Because then once you take down the spider, you've got the eyes, you can sell that, but everyone knows a good spider will feed the entire crew for sometimes a month.
Yeah, and so instead of preheating the oven, you preheat the food. Very clever.
Exactly, and
Culinary
then they loot the dens where all the webs and that are, because they've got the cocooned former hunters or whatever they've captured.
Yep.
They're going to find weapons and gear, and then they keep what they don't use. They haul it back, take it to via the caravans and trade routes. It goes back to the Ratling district over in Freetown.
Yeah.
And it gets dispersed, and everyone knows. What did I call him? Big.
Oh yeah.
What did
I can't remember. Big Crumber? No, that's Big Crumb. I've lost his name.
whatever that dude's name, the big man.
Yeah.
The big man gets his cut because everyone knows, once you sell a crew's acquired and borrowed gear, the district keeps their 15%.
Yep.
And then the other 75% goes back to the crew via the traders, and the caravan keeps their percentage, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And that's how these guys make their money, and it's really building everything back towards Freetown and that Ratling sort of district.
Yes.
And
yes,
yeah,
I love it.
it's so they've somehow become good guys, but also they're like a bunch of Rambo badasses.
Oh, mate, I'm so in love with the
on-
idea.
On
It's
swamp
like
boats.
Yeah, it's like a
hovercraft,
Vietnam era patrol boat, just chugging down
Oh,
the river.
man,
That's
yeah.
that's the way I envisage
Just-
them.
Just a guy on the front cooking a Weber
Yeah,
at all times.
Yeah. I just like slowly roasting it over like a naked flame. It's like just taking a little bite out of the leg. It's like this is
I
living.
love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
make them on top of the 600
Oh,
gangs. You have to
don't.
do.
I have so many gangs. Although, I do need to actually check. I could check because I'm on my computer, but I'm also very lazy. When the Old World Goblin re-release occurs, I'm pretty sure it's next week. I don't know.
I think it might
that-
be. But even if you
Those goblins are perfect, man.
Yeah, but I as I said, I've got a fair few. So if you want to venture down the short pathway, let me know.
And then we'll get, is it Rhine and Rouse from Blackstone Fortress? They've got the auxilia uniforms, and one's got a sniper rifle, the other's got like the grapnel
hook.
launcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would look really cool on the boat, actually. They would be mad. Yeah.
I've got the start of a hovercraft over there too.
Don't do this to yourself.
No.
Just focus on Necromunda, and then you can make it after that. I was joking when I said you should be making this gang.
But I could make it for Necromunda.
I don't reckon
Listeners, in fact, between now and our next episode, I want people to comment under the picture that comes up for this episode. What gang should I take to Necromunda?
Oh, right.
Now, it has to be a house gang. Chaos Cult, Gene Stealer Cult, Nomads, Squats. Basically, anything except like Venators or Outcasts. That's about right, isn't it? Anything except
pretty
Venators
much.
or Outcasts?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, done. Yeah, let's do that. No, screw it. Competition. But with no prize except my fury. People just vote. Or do I do a poll?
Do a poll.
No. We'll do a poll.
I reckon a poll would
Yeah,
be
we'll
best.
do a poll. I'm going to put a poll up,
Yeah.
and I want people to pick what gang I should do,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I think I can do it so you can do more options.
I don't know.
And if I don't know how to. I'm our social media person. And I have no idea how to use it. My wife literally does this for a living. I should ask her.
Just ask it. Yeah. That'd be 10 times easier.
She should. Why isn't she doing this for us? Yeah. Okay. Done. And if Gene Stealer Cult or Chaos Cult wins, we will decide whether it will be a Gene Stealer Cult, or Gene Stealer Cult infected house gang. Done.
Perfect.
That's another thing. Cool. This way, I'm asking to be bullied, and I have 6 months in which to do it.
Yeah.
I
reckon
I
it's
love
still going to
this.
be a last minute Larry for you, though.
It is gonna be like the night before. I'll be like, actually, I want to do Nomads.
Yeah. I'll do Enforcers. Yeah.
I'll do Enforcers again, but a different one. They're all green.
Yeah.
So, Ratlings. Nathan, what do we think about Ratlings? We talked a lot about Astra Militarum, but we tried to just... Anytime you hear Guard or Astra Militarum, just replace it with Gang.
Gang.
Or Enforcers.
Or
Oh my god,
Necromunda.
a Ratling enforcer would be amazing.
That would be cool. He would be really cool. But I'd see him more of a sleuth, like as a sleuth, like a little peaked cap, like he's a detective that gets hit everywhere.
my
He'd be
God.
really, I was going to say cute, but really cool. He can't be cute. He needs to be deadly and dangerous.
Rat Tracy.
Yeah.
He's got like a Thompson machine gun.
Yeah.
Sorry, a Thompson auto gun.
Yeah.
And he's got like the overcoat.
Yeah.
And he's got the hat. Oh my god, who do I like more? Rat Tracy or the Ginormagantuan? Nah, it's the
You remembered his
Ginormagantuan.
name, did you? The Ginormagantuan.
No, I was trying to remember the name of the Ginormagantuan's the Slaneshi.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Dude. It was big something.
Big.
My spider hunter dude. Do I like the
right.
Ginormagantuan, the spider hunter, or Rat Tracy? I don't know.
I'm going to go Norma Jam.
The Ginormagantuan.
The Ginormagantuan. It's so much easier.
How do you not remember the word I made up?
I don't know. Like
I don't think I made it up.
I don't know. You've thieved an
don't
idea.
I've thieved an idea from someone. I don't know. Yes. Ratlings, what do you think?
Love them. Naughty. The naughtiest things in Necromunda other than Grots. Because Grots are just a little bit on the evil side. So that's why I love them the most. They're just up to no good. And they actually provide that balance in the universe. And you go, oh, that's okay. They're cheeky little buggers. And I said it once, well, I've said it multiple times now. Shooting, shagging, snacking. That's what they are.
Shooting, shagging, snacking. That's the episode quote. Done. Yeah. In fact, that's the... Are we giving the Abhuman different titles? I don't remember.
I can't remember.
If we did for the Beastmen, that'll be the title for the Ratlings. Shooting, shagging, snacking. But, okay. On that note, I love Ratlings. I think they're great. I'm a huge fan of everything Abhuman. I need to make a Slaneshi Ratling now, as well as my Vietnam-style spider hunters.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to buy that giant spider from Sigma.
The Arachnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to need to buy that because it comes with
Turn
lots
it
of
into
little
a boat.
spiders, so you can put little
Oh, yeah.
collars on them
Turn that
and
into
like
a
have
boat.
little pet spiders.
That would look cool.
No.
Yeah.
Gut it and put an engine in its butt.
Yeah. That would look mad. You're
My
welcome.
poor wallet. Well, on that note, this has been an episode.
Yes.
Thank you to everyone for listening so far. Remember to check out Saucermen Minis and Necromunda vehicles and Pani Mouse's art and Punk Taku and Craig, you have to fight to the death for my love. Make sure to pick a gang for me for Arcramunda. And we're going to close this bad boy, as we do, with a quote. Little thieves. Thieves and vagabonds, the lot of them. They're petty-minded, larcenous little subhuman scum to the last. Everyone overlooks it because they can shoot straight and can cook a decent meal. You can't trust them. Any of them. They'll steal your chrono if you shake hands with them, as likely to pick your pocket as praise the Emperor's name. And that's an anonymous Imperial guardsman. And that was our latest episode of the Underhive Lorekeepers podcast. I am Spamiel, and on behalf of the Lorekeeper team, thank you for listening. Please follow us on our social media pages available in the show notes, and don't forget to follow and review us on your preferred podcast platform. As always, if you have questions, complaints, corrections, or if maybe you got ripped off at a particular Ratling enclave, please reach out to us at underhivelorekeepers@gmail.com. Thanks.